Alright, what's up guys? So another vlog. Plan today is I'm currently on the way to Championship Qualifier, so it'll be the first one I'll be attending for this season. And I think this is the second one if I'm not wrong. Yeah. The thing is, this is a block 1 rotation tournament, so no block 1 cards will be allowed. Basically it will just be the post-April format, but still with pudding. So not too sure what I'm going to be playing yet. Like, I brought out Lucy as well as Boa. So of course Boa is like my comfort pick, but because it's a block 1 block 1 rotation format, right? I think Lucy is also in a pretty good position to be played because there won't be like niche decks like UP Luffy running around anymore, and like the main matchups you need to like sort of deal with is Boa, NL, and probably UI Nami. So I want to see how that goes. I mean, UI Nami has been a pretty popular pick in Singapore as of late, so it's an unfavored matchup for Boa, but for me personally, I think it's manageable with pudding. But of course, it's a matchup that I don't really want to see, so I'm a bit on the fence about whether I want to play Boa or Lucy today. So I have to submit my deck in like 30 minutes, so I'll probably decide while I'm on the bus. Okay, so right, I'll catch you guys when I'm there. See ya, bye. Right, so round 1 ended, just going somewhere quieter so that I can do a recap. So I played against, so I'm playing Lucy, then I played against BY Luffy in the first round. So surprising pick, didn't expect to see it, but yeah, I kind of know what the deck does. Like basically the BY Luffy nowadays, right, they run like 8 cost Nami from OP15 to like 2 box out like their straw hat cards from their trash and give it rush. So like the main target for this is usually the 7 cost Robin. So they'll try to get that. So like they'll try to get 7 cost Robin in the trash, then cheat it out with 8 cost Nami. Then they will run stuff like the baby Ace, baby Luffy to like base up their leader once they're at 0. Yeah, but the thing is, like, just apply simple BY logic since like back it's been I think it's already been long enough that everyone should know how to play against BY Luffy. So I just need to stagger my attacks. So I don't push him to 0 if I can't get any cards from him. So if he has 2 life, I need to have 3 attacks. If he has 3 life, I need to have 4 attacks. Yeah, so I just slowly chip him, and I managed to win because Lucy doesn't have any issues dealing with BY Luffy because I have bought deck cards like I think Pistol. Yeah, I think it's called like Bari Pistol. So I can like bot deck his Robin after I reduce it by 2k. Yeah, because it bot decks a 6k, then because I can remove the Robin, it doesn't get off the on KO effect, and also because it also like it bottoms deck the Robin, so he can't get access to it again with the 8 cost Nami. So yeah, managed to win that pretty convincingly. I think it's just my deck is favored into BY Luffy because of my bot deck mechanics, and also I can just stagger him at like 2-3 life. Yeah, so like what happened for 2 turns in a row was that so the first Robin got cleared by me, like I just bot decked it. No, actually I fire fisted it. Yeah, then just minus 8k so that he can't turn the next turn. And then next turn I play another Sabo into the 7 cost that Devil Fruit event. Yeah, the one that gives my Sabo double break, so that he has to counter for my leader swing, or he has to give cards when my Sabo swings. So like I just swung with my leader when like I just used that event to keep staggering him. Like so he was at 2 life all the time. Then I was always swinging with like a double attack leader, so he has to counter. So I just kept scamming cards from him until like eventually he decided to take the double break, and then my boy had like 3 Sabos. Then I turned off 3 of them at once. Then he lost like a bunch of cards. Yeah, then I just sort of won off that. So I just need to stagger my attacks, and the matchup is pretty simple no matter what deck I'm playing. And just coincidentally I'm playing Lucy today, so I have access to like removal and bot deck effects. So that definitely is a matchup that I think would be Lucy favored. So right, so far so good. 3 more rounds to go. Basically the top 2 winners from this 32-man tournament will get the invite to go to the next to qualify for the championships. Compared to last year, where like championship was like a large-scale event where like we can have a capacity of up to like 512 players or more. This year round, they are doing store qualifiers so that only the top 2 winners from each qualifier will get to go to the next event. So only the top 40 players in Singapore, not top 40, sorry. Only there will be 20 stores hosting, so there will be 40 players that make it to the next step of the events, the next event. Yeah. So from that event, then the winners will get the Boa, the Crocodile, the Mihawk, and also the invite to Asia Finals. So that's what I'm gunning for, which is why I'm trying to qualify. So I went to the extent of even like cancelling a flagship slot for this. because so this event starts at 3 p.m. I have an event earlier. There was a flagship at 1 p.m. So I actually had a slot for that, but I decided to cancel it so that I can play so that I can play the qualifiers. Because once I get if I can nail this and get it out of the way, I don't have to worry about this for like the next few months and just go back to grinding for serial Nikas. So yeah, I decided fuck the flagship. I'm just gonna play and try to qualify. So 3 more rounds to go. So I'll catch you guys after round 2. Alright, so round 2, played against BY Nami. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that I didn't play Boa today just for this matchup in particular. So yeah, it's a pretty favourite matchup for Lucy. I think honestly the only win con for the UI Nami deck is to try to deck me out with Pudding. So I just needed to not do that just by not overdrawing cards with my Cavendish, and then just try to remove like everything that he plays, like through Bari Pistol and also like the Fire Fist. I just remove everything that he played. Any big cards that he rested like 8 cost Moria, I can just Fire Fist and chase it down. So it's a pretty favourite matchup. I think the only win condition the only lose condition you have is if he decks you out with Pudding. So you need to be very careful about like your Cavendish. So some turns you don't want to like turn the Cavendish, because Cavendish on attack ability is compulsory. So the moment you attack a Cavendish, you have to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. So just have to be very worried. Just need to be very precise about your deck count, and you should be fine against that matchup. Yeah. Then yeah, I just sort of just grinded it out. Basically, his board has no threats. Well, I always have like Sabo blockers on the board to tank attacks, and I think I was at 3 life for like the entire course of the game. Yeah. So like it's very hard for him to close. The only win con he had was Pudding, so I had to just play around that so that I don't deck out. So right, managed to win that. So 2 more rounds to go to get my invite. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. See ya. Right, so back from round 3, played against Red Blue Ace. Honestly, it's a pretty favourite matchup for Lucy, so didn't really have much issues. It got scary because like I think he played 6 cost Boa on 6. Then he locked my Cavendish and also bot deck like my Viola. Yeah, so that was a pretty sick turn because like I couldn't turn my Cavendish the next turn, and he also bot deck like 1 card. So he got off like max value from the 6 cost Boa. Yeah, but the 6 cost Boa got immediately answered by Sabo 7 cost into Fire Fist. I just discarded 2 cards to blow it up. Then because he had like 1 Mako rested on the board, I swung 8k into it and he countered 2 cards. So we were both like playing with very little cards in hand. On my 7 dawn turn, I was left with 3 cards in hand. Then going into his 8 dawn turn, he had like, I think he ended the turn by playing 8 cost event into Whitebeard, and then also ended with 3 cards in hand. So we were both like playing with a very small hand. But the matchup is quite favoured towards Lucy because of removal. Yeah. And also there was one point I think I just bot decked the Mako, and then he couldn't get any value from the Mako's on KO effect, and then he was still at 3 cards in hand, and then he was also scared to turn the 10 beard, because if he turns the 10 beard and I have Fire Fist, I can just like run over it. So yeah, I think I just won basically because of like removal and reduction. Yeah, I just need to be smart, so like I can't go to 0 or push him to 0 so that I don't get killed by Roger on one of the turns. Yeah, because we were both at like 1 life. I think he used like 8 cost event twice in a row and just took 2 life, so he was at 1 life and basing up every turn. Yeah, so he could potentially set up like a Roger lethal if at one point I think my board had Leader, which was buffed by Fire Fist, and 3 Sabos, and I didn't attack, because if I attack and he had Roger, I die immediately. So I just needed to play around the Roger that 1 turn. Then next turn, I just needed to have any removal for the active Whitebeard, or I need to have Fire Fist to either kill it if it free blocks, or just minus 8k so that the Whitebeard cannot attack the next turn because it will be a 4k base. Yeah, well, I still have like, I think I played like 4 Sabos on him, so I kind of high rolled the Sabos, but I didn't really need like the 3rd or 4th one to be fair. Yeah, but yeah, pretty favourite matchup, so managed to clear my 3rd round. So just left with 1 more round to go. So hopefully I think if I'm not wrong, there's like 4 Lucys and like 4 other decks, if I'm not mistaken, in the current spread right now of everyone that's 2-0. So probably will be facing a Lucy mirror based on the statistics, but if I see something else, that will be good as well. Just not Boa would be nice. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, that's all for round 3. Made it. 1 more round to go. So I'll catch you guys in a bit. See ya. Bye. Alright, so round 4 review. Played against PY Rosinante, so kind of shocking because like I think the top 4 spread was 3 Lucy and 1 Rosinante. so I paired into the non-Lucy deck. I was totally expecting to play a Lucy Mirror, but didn't happen, so I managed to play against Pierre Rosilante. I mean, I was pretty glad, because like I think it's a relatively favored matchup on paper, because of your bot deck removal as well as like reduction. You can chase their stuff. Like a couple of things you can do as Sabo into Rosilante that they can't really interact with. So yeah, pretty favored matchup. So I was pretty happy to queue into it. But I sort of, okay, first I lost the dice roll. Then I also bricked out because I think there was the one point in the game where I only had like one Sabo. I only had like one 7-cost Sabo in my hand, because I searched for it. Then when he swung into me, right, the life I took was another 7-cost Sabo. Then the next turn I drew into another 7-cost Sabo. So my hand, right, was like completely bricked up, because it went from having no bricks to like 5 bricks at once. Because I had like I think at one point in my hand was like, I think it was on my 7 dawn turn when I played the first Sabo. My hand was actually 3 Sabos and 2 Cavendish. So my 5 cards in hand were all bricks. So that was very scary for me, because the next turn, I think I managed to stabilize that turn, but I think it was the next turn, he swung like 2 6s at me, and then I had to counter like 4 cards from my hand to defend against the 2 attacks so that I can stay at 2 life. If not, I was going down to 1 and potentially 0 that turn, because I think he had 3 attacks. Yeah, so it was that was a very scary situation to be in. Yeah. What ended up saving me was because like I think I free blocked for 1 attack with the Sabo, right? Then he actually Gamma Knife to chase my Sabo when I was at 1 life. So that actually bought me a bit of time, because actually, right, I think my hand was at like 4-5 cards. Then because he chased the Sabo, I get to preserve the 1 life. If that turn he just pushed me, right, and forced me to take the last life, if he has unblockable, you will win. Yeah, but I mean, he wouldn't know that because I have still 5 cards in hand, right? And I did block with the Sabo and gave him the chance to like Gamma Knife and chase it down. So that bought me like 1 turn and allowed me to hold the 1 life. Then next time I played another Sabo. Then I think I went into Fire Fist to just reduce and chase something down. Yeah, so sigh of relief. Yeah, because I was being aggroed down super fast. Like I think by the turn that he played the Rosy Law, I was already at 2 life. Because he pushed 5-7. I took the first attack because he swung for 6. Then he swung 5-7. Then I took down to 2 life. I think next turn he swung me for 6-6. Then I had to counter like 4 cards to stay at 2 life. Then I went down to 1 that turn. Yeah, so it's very scary, because I'm not supposed to be able to like go down on life so fast in that matchup, because I want to try to preserve my life total so that I can stabilize, because I'm already slow 1 turn, given that I only can start playing my Sabo on my 8 dawn turn onwards. Yeah, so that was a bit scary, but I managed to clutch it, because that Gamma Knife window let me breathe that 1 more turn that I needed to stabilize with another Sabo into Fire Face drop. Yeah, so managed to clutch that win and get my slot to the Singapore GAO finals. Yeah, so I'm not too sure if it's called GAO finals, but I'm just gonna call it area finals, because it's only gonna be like 42 players. Yeah, so effectively I qualified for Singapore Championships right now. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy. Like, so I don't have to worry about it anymore, cause like this circuit will still be running on for like May and June and July, if I'm not mistaken. So now that I have my slot, I don't have to like sacrifice any more flagships to try to qualify for this event. Yeah, so sigh of relief, because a lot of weight off my shoulders, because this is also like the first GAO qualifier that I have a successful slot for, and this is like I think the 3rd or 2nd one held in Singapore. So very happy to be able to just get the slot, get it over and done with, so I don't have to worry about it. As for my thoughts on this circuit, right, I'm not too much of a fan of it. I rather they just do like the whole like having like regionals, 500-man capacity tournament, and then like the top players will make it to the next tournament. Whereas now, right, it's like everyone can play at like their local stores, and then the top 2 players will qualify. But the issue I have with this current system is that like me personally as a competitive player, right, whether I make it to the next tournament depends on whether I can actually play like the qualifiers, because the qualifiers are held at the card shops, right? They only can like fit like 32 packs. So like how are we gonna cater to like all the players, you know? Yeah, and like it's a bit tough also, because you need to go 4-0 to get the invite. Yeah, so if you drop any of those games, you're like out already, and you don't really get any consolation. Yeah, so like imagine if I went today and I lost, then when will be the next time I get to play a qualifier, you know? Because I'm on the waiting list for all the other qualifiers, you know. So I'm gonna have to try to like walk in and ballot in for like all of them, and like some of them might even be full, because the entry gift is like this flagship EX pack, right? That is quite a high value entry gift. Then like a lot of like I feel casual players will try to play the qualifiers to just get the entry gift and just go, you know. So you might see a lot of like players that not really competitive, don't really want to qualify for the CS, but just come here to take the entry gift and go. Yeah, so that's my only gripe. Like just if I put myself in the shoes of like another competitive player that didn't manage to qualify because of this, I'll feel very bad. Yeah, so I think it's better if, I honestly preferred the previous format where like the previous tournament structure where like it's just an open tournament for all, and then those that made top cut will get the invite. I like that a lot more. Yeah, but I guess they're experimenting, and I hope like, because they are also doing the survey after the event. Yeah, so I hope that the feedback goes back to Bandai and then they just revert back to the whole open for all structure. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, pretty good day, honestly. Like my entry pack was cracked. Like I opened the 10 cost BCF Luffy from my entry pack together with 1 cost the purple pudding. Yeah, then won the tournament, got my invite. Then also had a blast of a birthday celebration with my friend. Not my birthday, but one of my acquaintances. Yeah, we held a party at one of our friends' place, and yeah, we just ate like good food, cracked a nice bottle of wine, and then also had some nice tea that apparently my grandma dug out like this. How old is it? She dug out this brick of tea that was like produced in 2009. Yeah, 2009. So it's like almost 2 decades old actually. Yeah, then we tried that, and yeah, it was pretty good also. Yeah, so just a good day in general. Everything is good. So yeah, so tomorrow will be my last flagship attendances as for this season, for the Zoro season, because I'll be going on holiday the next week. And yeah, so I won't be participating in any flagships the next week, and also the last one on 30th April, because I get back on the 1st of April, which is exactly the start of the Serial Nika season. So that we'll see how that goes. Probably will be trying to vlog that as well. Honestly, haven't settled on a deck that I'll be playing. Yeah, yesterday I tried UI Nami. Wasn't my cup of tea. The deck is too grindy and games go too long. Even though I've win, but I don't feel too good winning, because I'm just winning because of like the life gain mechanic and just grinding the game out. Then yeah, Lucy is not bad. I might consider Lucy as one of my top picks for the next format as well. So in the next few weeks, what me and my playgroup is gonna be doing is we'll probably be trying to figure out like what decks is good post ban list, and also like what are we gonna be playing personally for the next 2 months, because we'll be basically playing the same format as the West for 2 months until OP16 releases for us end of May. Yeah, so definitely do look forward to the content that I'll be making on Elevate TCG. So stay tuned. Probably will be making a guide on like whatever deck I settle on for the format. So if you all enjoyed the Mihawk guide, which I do. Yeah, if you all did enjoy the Mihawk guide, do stay tuned for the next installment of my guides. So not too sure what deck it will be. I know it might be UI Nami, Lucy, maybe Mihawk is back, I don't know, but we'll see, right? So definitely a lot of figuring out to do, since it's like a fresh format with block 1 rotation kicking in as well. So there won't be like Red Rock, won't be Mihawk, 8-Kit. Yeah, so maybe some decks that used to be gatekept by these cards can actually make a resurgence into the meta game. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, overall pretty good day. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next vlog. See ya, bye.